Chapter 6 Abhyasa Yoga, the Yoga of Practice. Sri Bhagavan said a true yogi or a true renunciant is one who performs his duties renouncing attachment to results and not one who abandons work and the sacrificial fire. O son of Pandu, yoga cannot be separated from renunciation because to become a yogi, one must renounce all desires. To become a yogi, work without attachment is recommended. Only for an elevated yogi, giving up work is recommended. Work without desires, without sense gratification, and without any attachment to results leads to attainment of yoga. The mind can act as a friend to elevate oneself, or it can also work like an enemy to degrade oneself. When the mind is conquered, it becomes a friend. Left unconquered, it is an enemy. For a conquered mind, joy, sorrow, heat, cold, pain, pleasure, all are the same. Such a yogi attains peace and realization of the Supreme Soul. A self-realized yogi, steeped in transcendental knowledge and controlled senses, sees stones, mud and gold as equal. An advanced yogi sees a friend and an enemy equally and is impartial to all, be it saint or sinner. A yogi should live in seclusion, be free from material desires and possessions, regulate the mind and meditate on the Supreme. The yogi should practice in a clean and secluded place on a seat made of kusha grass, covered by deer skin and a cloth over it. The asana should neither be too low nor too high. Seated on this asana, he should begin the practice of purifying the heart by controlling his thoughts and by single-point meditation. He sits straight with head, neck, and back aligned in a straight line with his gaze steadily concentrated on the tip of his nose. The yogi meditates on me with a serene and fearless mind, on a vow of celibacy, holding me as his supreme goal of life. With a disciplined mind and body and totally absorbed in me, the yogi transcends material existence to reach the spiritual kingdom. O Arjuna, those who eat or sleep too much or too little, cannot be successful in yoga. Balanced eating, sleeping, working, and recreation is necessary for yoga practice to overcome all difficulties in life. He is a successful yogi who withdraws his mind from desires and focuses only on the transcendental. The unwavering mind of a yogi is like an unflickering lamp in a windless place. On attaining perfection, the yogi sees the soul through the purified mind and experiences inner joy. In this joyous state of pure bliss or samadhi, which is beyond comprehension of the senses, he never wavers from the path. Once he attains this state of samadhi, he knows there's nothing greater left to achieve. He is not perturbed by anything, come what may. He is free of all miseries. This state is achieved only by practicing yoga with determination and optimism. From controlling the mind and senses from all sides to relinquishing all cravings, the practice of yoga needs steadfast determination without any deviation. He progresses step by step to make the mind still, the intelligence being absorbed in a trance and the mind situated in the self. The unsteady mind may wander again and again, here and there, but the yogi always pulls it back to focus on God and keeps it under control. In return, the yogi experiences ultimate bliss when his mind is still, his passions are under control, and he is free of sinful reactions. The yogic practice frees him from material contamination, and by connecting with God, he reaches ultimate happiness. The yogi sees all beings existing in me and he sees me existing in all beings. He sees all with equal vision. A yogi who sees me everywhere and sees everything in me never loses me, nor do I lose him. A yogi who worships me knowing me to be the super soul within all living beings, lives in me always. O Arjuna, the perfect yogi responds to the pains and pleasures of others as if they were his own. Arjuna said, O Madhusudan, given that the mind is restless and wavering, this practice of yoga is highly unrealistic and impossible to do. O Krishna, it is far simpler to control the wind than the mind which is stubborn, wavering, dominating, and agitated. Sri Bhagavan said, rightly said, O mighty-armed Arjuna, the restless mind is indeed difficult to control, but it can surely be done by practice and detachment. Yoga is difficult for one whose mind is out of control, but in my opinion, once the mind is controlled, yoga can be perfected. Arjuna said, O Krishna, what happens to the yogi who begins in good faith but falters in between because of worldly desires and goes off the path? Lost from his original path, is he not like a wandering cloud with neither material success nor spiritual success, O mighty-armed Krishna? Krishna, these are my doubts and only you can dispel them completely. Sri Bhagavan said a person on this auspicious path will never meet misfortune. Not in this world, not in the spiritual world. He is never defeated by evil forces. On death, the unsuccessful yogi goes to heaven and enjoys in virtuous company. After a long period of enjoyment, he takes birth again in a spiritual or wealthy family. Or in very rare cases, he may be born in the family of an exalted transcendentalist. On birth, once again he takes up a yogic life and strives for spiritual perfection by reawakening the consciousness of his previous life. In this life, he acquires a spontaneous attraction for God. On the strength of past practice, he can transcend and rise above the Vedic ritualistic practice. By renewing his efforts in controlling the mind, he makes further progress. After many births of practice, he becomes free of material desires and achieves the supreme goal. O Arjuna, be a yogi because he is better than all three: the ascetic, the jnani, and the ritualistic materialist. That yogi is best who imposes full faith in me, worships me in full devotion, and is most intimately united with me.